Hello, welcome to 3D printed superhero keychains. My name is Ken Fritz. I am the Digital Services Specialist at the Barrington Area Library. Today we're going to go through the process of creating a superhero keychain with a program called Tinkercad. Tinkercad is a free online 3D modeling program. It is web-based, so there's nothing to download or install. You just need an internet connection. Before you will be able to follow along, you'll need to create a Tinkercad account. Go to Tinkercadcom. Once you're there, click this button in the upper right corner that says Join Now. And then go ahead and click Create a Personal Account here. And choose Sign Up with Email. And then just go through the process of creating your account. If you already have a Tinkercad account, then you can just click Sign In on the welcome screen to get into your existing account. In order to follow along, you can download one of the SVG files provided on the BA Library website. Go to balibrary.org and then scroll down the page. Where it says Upcoming Events, go ahead and click this button, Register/View All Programs. And then over here in the keyword search, go ahead and type the word keychain. And then we see the 3D printed superhero keychains event here. And in the description of this program, there is a link to download the superhero SVG files. So go ahead and click this Google Drive link. And then now we can see the three files that are available. We have the Batman logo, the Spider-Man logo, and the Wonder Woman logo. So choose one that you want to work with and click this download button in the upper left corner, and then it will be saved to your downloads folder. Here are three examples of designs that we can make using these superhero SVG files. I will show you how to personalize it with your name. I will also show you how to make a keychain with just the logo if you do not want to personalize it. There are four components to each keychain. We have the logo, we have the text for the name, we have the base, and then we have the keychain loop at the top. Once you're logged into Tinkercad, go ahead and click this Create New Design button at the top. You can go ahead and change the title of your project by clicking at the top and adding your new title up there. And also what we want to do is we want to edit this grid. We want to work in inches instead of millimeters. So to do that, we click Edit Grid down here. And right now it's defaulted to millimeters. I'm going to go ahead and click inches. And then I'm going to click Update Grid. So now we're ready to start our design. So the first thing we can do is we can go to the upper right and click Import, and then go ahead and click Choose a File, and you're going to want to find that SVG file that you just downloaded. Now that we have our first shape in here, let's talk about moving around. If you notice when you left click, nothing happens. You can select the shape with a left click. So in order to move in any direction, you can choose the right click and click and drag, and then you'll be able to see your object from a different view. Also, zooming in and zooming out, you can just use the scroll on your mouse. And if you want to move up or down, then just hold down the scroll button and then click and drag. Okay, so first let's resize this logo. It's going to be a keychain, so keep that in mind however big you want it. I will set the size to I want to set the width here to a little bit under 2 inches. So you can resize each dimension independently, or if you click in the corner and hold down the shift key, then it will resize proportionally. So if you just wanted to edit one dimension, then you can click in the corner and then drag it that way or however you want. But I want to resize it proportionally, so I'm going to click this corner and hold down shift. And then now we see the dimensions are in inches, so I want it to be slightly less than 2 inches on the width. So right now I see 1.799, so I will go ahead and just keep it like that. So we see that it's 1.799 by 1.039. So the next step is to create a base that is roughly the same size as the outline. If you are doing either the Wonder Woman or the Spider-Man logos, then you are going to want a base that's more circular. The Batman logo is relatively oval shaped, so just create a base that is more circular so you can have your logo and then leave space to have your name under it. For the Batman logo, you can put your name right on top of the bat there. So in order to create the base, I'm going to go over here where it says basic shapes. And you can scroll through all the shapes that we can bring in. I'm going to choose the cylinder. So I'm going to click it and drag and just drop it on the plane here. And so similarly, we can adjust the height by clicking and dragging. You can also type in the specific dimensions if you want, if you know like exactly how big you want it to be. So let's go ahead and type in the same dimensions. So however big your object is, type those dimensions for the base. So mine is 1.799. So I'm going to go over here and then type 1.799. And my height or depth is 1.039. So again, I'm going to come over here and type 1.039 and then hit enter. So now this object is exactly the same width and depth as the logo. So you can adjust the height manually just by clicking and dragging that little square. So I think about 1/8 of an inch is good. So the next step is we want to merge these two objects together. And so how to do that is go ahead and select both objects. You could either click and drag to select both of them there, or if you've one selected, you can hold down shift and then click the next one. And so we want to align these together. And so once both items are selected, we want to go up to the align tool, which is up here. And so now we have the opportunity to align these on all three axes if we want to. So I'm going to click that one, and you see that that aligns it like so. And I also want to align it on this axis. So now this is pretty much what I want. We see that it's a little recessed here around the outside of the bat logo, and the outside border is raised as well. So I think that looks pretty good. You can look around. On the bottom, it's going to be flat. Okay, so I want to combine these two objects. So right now, as you could see, they're not attached to each other. So I can click and drag the bat logo outside, and I just want to permanently attach these, basically glue these objects together. And also, if you ever want to undo anything, you can hit undo over here. You could also do Control Z, and that will get you back to your previous step. So I want to select everything here and then come up to the top, and there's a group tool. So when I click group, now they become the same color, so we know that it is the same object. And so now when I click, the two pieces move together because we just merged them. Great. So next, I want to create the keychain loop. So again, I'm going to click and drag out a cylinder. And I want to match the cylinder height to the height of the logo here. So let's see, if I click there, it is 0.164 inches. So again, I'm going to click on the new cylinder. And then I'm going to type 0.164. Cool. So now that will be exactly the same height. So what size do we want for the keychain loop? So in order to make sure that the it'll have enough room for the keychain to pass through, right now we're setting the outside of the keychain, so we want to set the outside of the circle to 0.375 inches. So I'm going to click and type 0.375, and then same on that side, 0.375. Okay, so this is the outside. So right now we need to create a hole in the middle here. So how to do that is go to the basic shapes tool, and you'll see this grayed out cylinder. This is a hole. And so we can click and drag that in. And then again, we want to set the height to 0.164. And again, the heights may differ depending on the size of your keychain. Just be sure to reference back to your original logo. And so for the hole in the keychain here, we want to set the inside to 0.25 inches. So 0.25, and then same on that side, 0.25. Cool. So now we need to align these two pieces and group them together. So you can go ahead and select both of those pieces. First, we want to align them. So let's choose the Align tool, and we want to click those two. So before you group them, just make sure that it looks like a good solid hole right through the center of the cylinder. And so again, go ahead and click and select both of those, and then go back up and click the group tool. So now this keychain hole is grouped together. Okay, so let's go ahead and group these two pieces together. If we select both of them, go to align, and then we basically only want to align on the x-axis here. So go ahead and click the center there, and then we'll just go ahead and move this piece just by tapping the arrow. Just tap the down arrow a couple times, and you see it might not give us a big enough hole here. We can change the snap to grid if we come down below edit grid, and I'm going to change it to 1/16 of an inch, and then I'm going to move it by using the arrow tool. So move the arrow on your keyboard there, and that's pretty good actually. So I'm going to leave it there. I like this position. So click everything and then come up to the top and say group. So now we can see that's looking good. Okay, so then the last part, I want to do some text. And again, if you don't want to personalize it with your name, then this is pretty much the last step that you need. But if you do want to personalize it, come over to text here and click and drag some text out. Once you click it out here, then you'll see it just says text over here. This is where you can type in what you want. So I'm going to type a name, and then you can choose the font. There's 4 fonts to choose from. So I like this one, so I'm going to keep it. And for the name, really, it's the best way to resize it is just click Shift on your keyboard and then drag the corner, and then just make it small enough to where it will fit inside. And you may have to increase the height of this. Go ahead and just click and drag to increase the height. Yeah, so now we see that's looking pretty good. I will decrease the size just a little bit. Okay, and to get an even more accurate placement here, you can go down to snap grid and then change it to 1/32 inch or 1/64 of an inch. So then when you hit the arrow keys, then it will be less of a shift for each time that you move it. So I like that. We can see how it is raised up here. So again, you can go ahead and change the height a little bit. So make sure you look at it from different angles. So I like the way this looks. We have the outer ring, and then it gets a little bit lower in this area, and then it goes back up for the bat logo, and then the highest point is the name on here. So go ahead and select everything and then group those objects together again. And so now we have our personalized keychain here. Here's an example of a keychain with just the logo and the keychain hole. This is not using the base or adding any text to it. This is a much more simple design. So if you want to complete this design, then just use the previous steps that I mentioned about having the hole be about the same height as the logo. And so once you're done with your design, you can go up to the upper right here and click export, and then choose STL as the file format. And then once you're done with your design, you can upload it via our website. So go to balibrary.org and then click Maker Lab. and then scroll down and click Submit 3D Print. And then go ahead and fill out your information. And then here where it says 3D file, this is where you will upload the STL file that you just exported. After you submit the file, we will reach out to you to provide more information about pickup as we continue to develop our reopening procedures. If you have any questions about this presentation or about using Tinkercad, please email me at digitalservices@balibrary.org. Thank you and take care.